Hey, this is Money Flocks. We are back. Today's Tool Tuesday, but I figured I'd do something slightly different. I won't be really talking about a tool. I'll be talking about an entire operating system, Kali Linux to be exact. For newbies out there who may be interested in Linux or Kali Linux, the video I'm going to do today is basically going to be really quick. I'm just going to show you how to download the Kali Linux ISO file, put it into a bootable USB drive, and basically create or download and install Kali Linux. Hopefully you guys out there have a piece of hardware, a laptop, an old laptop, or something that you want to put Linux on. If you don't have something like that, you can always download VMware. I believe there's a 30-day free license that you can have if you want to use it for 30 days, or purchase VMware. You can, if you download the ISO, you can definitely install Kali Linux on a VMware machine using the ISO. But if you don't want to go that route, as I mentioned, if you have an old laptop, an old Windows 7 laptop or a 10, or Linux is very powerful. It can run on it has very little limitations as far as hardware that it can run on. Kali does have limitations. You can look at the website, to see if your specific system meets those requirements. I'm pretty sure it will. But in any regard, this is going to be a quick video how to get the file, put it onto a bootable USB drive. Obviously, for different systems, you have to figure out the bootable option. Go into the boot options and make your computer boot to USB. Depending on your system, it could be a number of keys. It could be F12, F2, whatever the key is. You can find which keys for your specific system. Once you boot to the drive, from there you can install Kali Linux, and I'll show you that here soon. So first thing you want to do, obviously you want to get the download from the Kali Linux site. It's here. I'll put all these links I'll put in the comments for you guys. So kali.org/downloads. This page here has all the different types of systems they have. I downloaded Kali Linux Lite. You may want to, you can try this one, or you may want to do the normal Kali Linux 64-bit. It's going to be the same process. To save time for the video, I already downloaded this one here. I can show you how to really quick check the SHA-256 sum, make sure you have the correct file. So what I would suggest is open up a quick notepad, copy this checksum here, type it into notepad, or not type it, paste it. Okay, so and then I'll open a command prompt. And we're going to type this command here, cert util-hash file. Take the file, drop it here, and then type SHA-256. Let it do its magic. This is really quick, just to make sure the file. This is done for security purposes, just to make sure there's no man-in-the-middle attack. Somebody's copying, not copying, but let me copy this. Let's see if it works. And so here you can see, obviously, the file match. This is just for safety reasons. You always want to do this when you're downloading from the internet. If they provide you a SHA-256 or a SHA-1 or a SHA-512, whatever, this is just for verification that the download that you have, the integrity is there and it hasn't been changed. I'm not going to save this, not going to save that. So we have the file. It's legit. Next thing you want to do is go to Rufus. Here's the website here, rufus.ie. Rufus is a really quick app that you can use to put an ISO onto a USB drive and make it bootable. I've used it for quite some time. I have no issues with it. It's pretty simple. I have it here. I'm just going to open up, and I already have a drive. I named it bootable. I have a 16 gigabyte USB drive called the bootable. Here you can select the image, which I have on the desktop already. And okay, so you want to just click start on this. This is going to rewrite whatever's on that drive. Hopefully you have a clean drive. You have nothing there that you care about on your drive. Once you're done with this portion here, that's when you figure you can boot to the drive and then install Kali Linux. Again, every system is different. You just have to find the right key to boot to your boot menu, and then make sure your computer, your system is going to boot to the drive where you will be able to install Kali Linux. And in about 2 seconds, I will show you that process to install Kali Linux. So you have officially booted your system to your USB drive with your bootable Kali Linux. You are now at the boot menu screen here. You have a few options. What we are going to do is we're going to do a graphical install. All these options are nice and fun, but we want to do a persistent real installation rather than a live or a forensic or a live USB. So we're going to come down to the graphical install here. You can do install. This is command line, but I'll stick with graphical install for now. Hit enter. Let that load up. It's going to be some fun stuff here. Hopefully this works. And we'll wait. And we're just going to go through this step by step, day by day. Never mind. All right. So English. Obviously, most of you guys are probably going to be English. Click continue. United States, American English, blah, blah, blah. I mean, to be honest, you probably got through all the hardest parts, putting it on the USB drive and then figuring out your specific laptop to boot to, or to boot to the USB. Quick note about the network setup. Since I'm doing mine on VMware, it's basically treating the network setup as a hardline. So as if I have Ethernet, obviously I'm tunneling through my host. But for your installation, if you're using a laptop and you're not hardwired in through, from an Ethernet to a router, it may or may not detect that automatically. But if you're using a wireless NIC, and you want to set up your network connection through the wireless NIC, during this portion of the setup, it's going to ask you to obviously choose your network SSID and then enter the password. So you would do that obviously with your home router setup or wherever you are, getting your internet access from. So on mine, it's not going to show that portion because using VMware, it's going straight through the host for the internet portion. So it's already set up basically. All right, you can just go ahead and create a host name. You can name it anything. I'm just going to call this test for now. Also, same thing with a domain. You should know what a host and domain name is by now. All right, you set your root password. We're setting up users and passwords. I'm just going to put the same thing here. Doesn't matter. For now, just make sure yours match when you do this part. Kali by default creates a root account that you log into. Obviously, you can make more accounts if you want, but Kali goes to the root. We're going to do Eastern time. I mean, this is pretty much, the graphical is really easy. Okay, so let's talk about this now. So guided, use entire disk. This is if you just want to, for whatever hardware you're using, a laptop, just use the entire disk for your machine. The other options here, you have use entire disk and set up LVM. LVM is a type of a logical volume management. We're not going to get into this. We don't need it. And the same thing with encrypted. If you wanted to encrypt your disk, we're just going to continue on here. We're not really concerned with that. In this instance, I'm setting this up on a quick VMware, only 8.6 gigs on the drive. Yours may say something different. It may be it'll be the entire disk partition or however much space you have, and your computer hardware information will be here. Actually, the disk information will be there. We're going to do all files in one partition, recommended for new users. We're going to keep it pretty simple. If you wanted to separate a home partition, you can partition the drive and have separate home or home and var and temp partitions, but we're just going to keep it real simple here. If you need more information on what type of issues or when you would use something like this, we can get into that, or you can look that up on your own. So it's just telling us what we're going to do. We have a primary is going to be 7.8 gigs. Logical is going to be 80.32. This is the swap partition. We just want to finish partitioning and write the changes to this. We don't have to change anything here, so we'll click continue. The thing about the installation is going to keep asking you to verify everything. So just make sure you read carefully what you're doing. In this instance, is just basically re-asking us if we want to actually make these changes. Keep in mind, if you're using a system that you have Windows on, this is not doable. We are not dual booting at this time. We are overriding everything that's on the drive. So hopefully using an older system, as I suggested earlier, something you can just throw Kali Linux on so you can learn. I'm not responsible if you override something, an already established operating system, Windows, Mac, or whatever it is. This is strictly for brand new installs on an older system, something that you have laying around, or maybe something that you want to install Kali Linux on, or a virtual machine. If I'm using a virtual machine, obviously, but if you wanted to do this on a virtual machine, it's exactly the same steps, obviously, except for the part where you configure your guest parameters, such as your hard disk space and all that stuff. But that's another video. That's beyond the scope of this one here. This might take a while. Alright, so basically the network mirror is something you definitely want to click yes to. This allows, so for instance, if you want to update software packages on your Kali installation, this using the network mirror just automatically sets that up for you to where you can just do an apt-get update or something, upgrade, install, and it just pulls the latest version of the software down for you. If you click no, you may not have that. You won't have that capability. You may have to set it up later. So what we're going to do is just definitely click yes. We want to set up the mirrors so we can pull down updates and things of that nature. So do not click no on this. We're not going to have a proxy for now, so we're going to click none, or keep it none, and click continue. Proxy, you should know what a proxy server is by now, or a proxy. But for instance, when you do burp suite type of activities, or something where you need a proxy, you can set that up in your browser or your network configuration settings at a later time. It's not necessary to do during the installation here. Oh, this is the fun thing, the GRUB. In my experience, I've probably done this maybe hundreds of times, and I can easily say a quarter of those times there was issues with the GRUB. Hopefully I'm not shooting myself in the foot by speaking too early on this, but install the group. Yes, you want to install the GRUB bootloader to the master record. That's a yes. This process would be a little bit different if we were doing a dual boot, but we're not, so we're just going to keep it to the defaults. And then on this portion here, enter the device manually. No, we want to just choose the device that is here. You should only have one. You may have others if you created partitions or have multiple disks, but we're going to go with dev SDA. We're going to let that finish installing. Should be pretty quick, and then it should boot right into our fresh installation. Standing by to stand by. Let's see if that works out. Alright, installation is complete, blah blah blah. Boot into your new system. Make sure to remove the installation media, and let's click continue, see how that works. We're just going to cross our fingers. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, this will work. There could be hardware issues with your particular laptop device or whatever you're using. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say there could be a number of things why this could go wrong. I've had plenty of GRUB bootloaders die on me doing both dual boot and a normal installation. Sometimes I'll just keep trying until it works, and other times it would never work for whatever reason, reasons being computers. So hopefully you don't have any issues with yours. So far, so good. We're going to go. Oh, here we go. Get ready. You now have a working installation of Kali Linux. Let me go ahead and log in for the first time. Yours should be root and whatever password you created. As I said, root is going to always be the default here. We'll use a default config, and there you have it. This is a brand new installation of Kali Linux. Feel free to play around with these settings. We're not going to get too much into the actual operating system at this time. We were just doing, we're just doing a quick install. Yours should look slightly different. I haven't installed the VMware tools to make the screen full screen yet, but at the end of the day, this is a complete installation. We are completed. You have now something that you can work with and learn on. If you have any questions, please hit the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you next time. Thanks.